Film analysis line. Thesis. In Matthew Kazova's line, the police station interrogation scene demonstrates how an unexpected and difficult event, in this case a brutal police encounter, throws the established social dynamic of the projects into disorder. The film constructs this meaning through its mise-en-scene, cinematography, editing, and sound, which produce a powerful argument about the cross-system spillover effects of institutional violence. The sterile setting and unflinching close-ups work to highlight the physical disruption of a hostile environment and the power imbalance between the characters and the police. Simultaneously, the raw diegetic sound and sharp editing show how this event directly causes an increase in disputes and tensions among the group, ultimately proving that the cycle of violence and hatred is a direct consequence of a system that actively creates and perpetuates it. Scene explained. The scene depicts a tense and brutal interrogation at a police station, where Hubert and Saeed are subjected to both verbal and physical abuse by two plainclothes officers. The sequence begins with the officers bringing the two friends into the station. The harassment begins immediately, with both officers working together to intimidate and verbally abuse them. The focus of the harassment seems to be on Hubert, who the officers appear to see as a greater threat. The tension escalates quickly when both officers turn on the boys. While Hubert is physically pushed and harassed, the older officer slaps Saeed across the face. The entire event is witnessed by a new cop who is sitting in the room, facing them. The new cop does not do anything to stop the harassment, which makes his presence in the room even more powerful. After the two officers leave, the boys and the new cop stare at one another in a powerful moment of silence. The new cop looks like he does not approve of what happened, while the boys see that he watched it all happen without doing anything. This shows that the problem is not a few bad cops, but the entire police system, where even those who disagree are still complicit in the violence. Cinematography. The cinematography in the police interrogation scene is a deliberate departure from the film's usual style, and it serves a clear purpose. Unlike the chaotic handheld camera work that follows the characters through the projects, this sequence uses a more controlled, almost clinical approach. The camera is often static and uses tight close-ups and a shot reverse pattern to put the viewer directly into the tense exchange. This technique forces you to confront the character's fear and humiliation on a very personal level. The shots are tight and uncomfortable, leaving no room to look away from the verbal and physical abuse. The cinematographer's choice to maintain the film's stark black and white aesthetic in this sterile environment is also crucial. It strips away any potential glamour or color that could soften the brutality. The harsh, fluorescent lighting of the interrogation room creates a strong contrast, highlighting the cold and personal nature of the police institution. A powerful detail is the use of a dolly shot that pulls back to reveal the new cop watching the violence unfold. This shot transforms the viewer from a direct participant to a horrified observer, mirroring the trainee's position and suggesting that this kind of abuse is not a hidden secret, but an accepted institutional practice. Mise-en-scene. The mise-en-scene in this scene is a deliberate contrast to the rest of the film's gritty environment. The boys are taken to what looks more like a police office or break room than an informal interrogation room. The setting is cold and impersonal with harsh lighting, unlike the housing projects which are filled with personal touches and signs of life. This space has a complete lack of warmth. The walls are not bare, they are covered with maps, posters, and other everyday work items, which makes the abuse that happens in the room seem more casual and routine. The only props are a metal table and chairs, which further emphasize the power imbalance. The officers are positioned to dominate the space while Hubert and Saeed are seated uncomfortably, appearing small and vulnerable. This careful arrangement of elements show how the environment itself is a tool of oppression. The police have created a space where they hold all the control. The informal nature of the room shows that this kind of abuse is a common part of their job, not something that needs to be hidden. The most important part of the mise-en-scene is the young cop who sits in the room with them. His presence is crucial because it shows that he is not just an outsider but direct witness to the abuse. This makes it clear that the police force is a system where even those who disagree with the methods are still part of the problem. Editing. The editing in the police station scene is very sharp and deliberate, which makes the violence even more impactful. Unlike the loose documentary-style editing of the rest of the film, this scene uses tight, purposeful cuts. The sequence relies on the short reverse shot pattern between the police officers and a young man, but it's used to show a power struggle, not a balanced conversation. The editing doesn't allow for long takes, which would give the audience time to breathe. Instead, the quick cuts mirror the fast and merciless nature of the assault. When both officers begin harassing the boys at the same time, the cuts between their actions reinforce that they are a united front, not just acting as individuals. The quick cuts to the new cop's face also show how he is an active part of the scene, even if he is just silently watching. This editing technique shows that the problem is not a few bad cops, but a systemic issue where even those who witness the violence without acting are part of the problem. Sound. The sound in the scene is almost entirely diegetic, which means the sounds come from within the scene itself. This is crucial to the film's realism as it makes the encounter feel raw and unfiltered without any music to soften the blow. The most important sounds are the dialogue, which is filled with racial slurs and dehumanizing language, and the physical sounds of the beating, the loud slaps, the thud of a body hitting a wall, and the harsh tones of the officers. Voices are all designed to make the viewer feel like they are right there in the room. The sound design in this scene makes it clear that the police's actions are not just something that happens, but something that is a direct cause of the violence and hatred that follows. Thank you.